Hello Year 8. Today we want to talk about triangles. So we want to talk about the different types of triangles and the names that we can give them. So the first three names here are ways of naming your triangles by the sides that you've been given. So a scalene triangle has three different sides, which means that it has three different angles as well. So to draw that, I'm going to try and draw three different side lengths. So a long one, a short one, and a medium-sized one. So to show that the sides are different lengths, we like to put different symbols on them. So I might put one line on that one, two on that one, and three on that one for three different side lengths. And to show that the angles are different, I could put a different symbol in each corner of that triangle. So I could put a dot here, a cross here, and maybe a little arc in that one. So three different sides and three different angles. An isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two equal sides and two equal angles. So I'm going to draw two equal sides up the top here as best I can, a little bit wobbly there, and one that's a little bit shorter across the bottom. I might make that a little bit more obvious. I'll make it a bit more narrow like this. Okay, so these two top sides are the same, so I'm going to mark them with one line on each one. And the third side on the bottom is a different length. Now the two angles that will be the same are what we call the base angles of an isosceles triangle, and they are the ones that are across from the two sides that are equal. So this one and this one would be the same size. This one up the top would be a different sized angle. The third type of triangle is called an equilateral triangle, and that is where all three sides are the same and all three angles are equal, and that does mean that all the angles will have to be 60 degrees. So here is a diagram that I hope looks like an equilateral triangle, where we want all three sides to be the same length and all the angles are the same, and I'm even going to write 60 degrees in there to remind us that they will have to be 60 degrees each. Okay, that's named by sides. The next three names here are triangles that are named by the angles that they have in them. So the first type of triangle is going to be the acute angled triangle, and that means that all the angles are acute. Acute meaning less than 90 degrees. So something like this. Oh dear, I think I'm making that one obtuse now. Let me start that again. As long as all of those angles are less than 90, then that is an acute angled triangle. So maybe that one's 80, that one's going to be 40, and this one's going to be 60 degrees. Okay, they're all less than 90 degrees. A right-angled triangle has one right angle in it. You can't have more than one right angle in a triangle. So there is our diagram, and we use our right angle symbol in the corner. And an obtuse angled triangle is a triangle that has one obtuse angle. You can never have more than one obtuse angle in a triangle. So that angle in there, maybe it's 110 degrees, would be my obtuse angle. Now it is possible to combine different types of triangles. So I could have an obtuse angled isosceles triangle, which means I have two sides the same in my triangle, but I also have an obtuse angle in it. All right, let's go down to our examples. Example 2. Find the value of each pronumeral giving reasons. So we know that the angle sum of any triangle is equal to 180 degrees, just like our straight angle. So if we want to find the value of A in this triangle, we will add together all three angles. A plus the 70 plus the 30 is equal to 180 degrees. Now the reason for that is called angle sum of triangle is equal to 180 degrees. Now the shortest way to write that is angle, we're using the angle symbol, angle sum of, and we can use a drawing of a triangle for the word triangle, angle sum of triangle equals 180 degrees. And we solve that like we did with the straight angle. So to get the A by itself, I need to subtract the 70 and subtract the 30. So we'll use our calculator and we'll go 180, take away 70, take away 30, and that is equal to 80 degrees. Okay, let's do it again for part B. I'm trying to find A in this triangle. So start with the A and add on the other two angles. Plus 116 plus 24. The angle sum of a triangle is always 180 degrees. Write the reason. Angle sum of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. To get the A by itself, we start with the 180 and we subtract off the 116 and subtract off the 24. So A is equal to 40 degrees. Part C, remember that a right angle symbol is 90 degrees. So A plus the 90 plus the 71 is equal to 180 degrees. Always write your reason. Angle sum of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. Then use your calculator to type in 180, subtract off the 90, subtract off the 71. And that's 19 degrees. Part D, A plus the other two angles, 54 plus 92 is equal to 180. Angle sum of a triangle equals 180 degrees. You must write the reason every single time. A equals 180. Take away those two angles, so take away 54, take away 92, and that equals 34 degrees. Okay, so hopefully you can see that those questions are very, very similar. We want to change it up a bit now in example number 3. We still want to find the value of each pronumeral and we still need to give reasons, but some of our different types of triangles are going to come in here. So we can see that we have got these markings on here that make that triangle an isosceles triangle. Now, one of the properties of an isosceles triangle, as you remember, is that it has two equal sides, but that means that it has two equal angles as well, and the angles are the bottom two angles that match up with those sides. So I don't even need to use the angle sum of a triangle. What I'm going to be using is the isosceles triangle rule. So how we write that, we know that these base angles here must be equal because of that isosceles triangle. So I say that A is equal to 68 degrees. And my reason is because base angles of an isosceles triangle, now isosceles you can just shorten to isos. Base angles of isosceles triangle are equal. Whenever you write a reason, there's always two parts to the reason. There is the name of the property and it's what it means. So when you have a angle sum of a triangle, the name of it is angle sum of a triangle, and what that means is that it's equal to 180 degrees. When we have these base angles of isosceles triangle, what that means is that those angles are equal. And you'll see that pattern in all the reasons that we give. And that's it. A is equal to 68 because base angles of an isosceles triangle are equal. In B, we have an isosceles triangle again, so these sides must be the same. That means that 37 must be the same as this blank spot here. So I'm going to write that missing number 37 must also go there. Now what I can do is I can use the angle sum of a triangle to find the A that I actually want over here. A plus those two other angles, 37 plus 37, is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, now I've used all of those angles making 180, which is angle sum of a triangle is equal to 180 degree. That's our reason. To find the A, we start with our 180 and we subtract off 37 and we subtract off another 37, giving us 106 degrees. Question C, again we have isosceles triangle here, which means that A is going to be the same as this one here, which is A. So I have two A's. I have A plus A. I have 2A plus I have another angle, which is 28, and that is equal to 180 degrees because angle sum of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. Now solving that equation, I will first of all need to subtract the 28. So that is 180, take away 28, gives me 152. So I have 2A equals 152. But I also need to get rid of this 2 here by dividing by 2. So 152 divided by 2 is 76. So A equals 76 degrees. Okay, D, getting slowly a little bit more tricky as we go down the page here. D, we are trying to find this angle outside of our triangle here. So what I will need to do is I'll actually have to find this one inside first. I'm going to call that B since A is the one outside. So if I want to find that letter B, I'm going to use my angle sum of a triangle. B plus 22 plus the 29 equals 180 degrees. And that reason is angle sum of a triangle equals 180 degrees. Now to find B, we have to subtract those angles from 180. 180 minus 22 minus 29 is 129 degrees. Now to find A, we're actually going to use a rule that is coming up. We're going to touch on this one more in our next lesson. But all of the angles around a revolution here are equal to 360 degrees. Okay, we call it angles at a point when we're doing geometry. So that means that A plus that 129 degrees, those two angles in there, must be equal to 360 degrees. 60 degrees. And that is a new reason we're going to learn about, which is called angles at a point are equal to 360 degrees. Okay, to solve that, I would subtract the 129 which means A is equal to 360 take away 129, which is 231 degrees. Okay, these are definitely some tricky questions here at the end. We have one more here to do. I need to find little a in here. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use these straight lines to find the angles inside the triangle. Okay, I'm going to give them names so that I can correctly label everything. So I've got little a already. I'm going to call this one B and this one C. To find B using the straight angle, I would say B plus 116 is equal to 180. Okay, that's using our straight angles are equal to 180 degree rule. That means if I do 180 minus the 116, I find out that little b is 64. So this angle in here is 64 degrees. Now I can do the same thing to find little c. C plus the 155, sorry. Oh, let me write that again. Is equal to 180 degrees as well. Also because straight angles are equal to 180 degrees. So we're going to subtract off that 155. So 180 minus 155 means that C is equal to 25 degrees. Okay, we finally have enough information to work out the little a that we're after. So little a using the triangle, A plus the 64 plus the 25 must equal 180 degrees because angle sum of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. And we type in 180, subtract the 64 and subtract the 25 to get 91 degrees for A. Now those last two questions are quite tricky ones. You're not going to get too many questions that complicated right now, so don't get too stressed just yet. Remember that we also want to mix in some of the other rules that we have learnt. So you'll see these first few questions here, we've got a right angle, we've got a straight angle before we even get to a triangle question. Okay, because we can't forget about the other rules that we've learnt. Okay, so this is where your questions start. Time for you to practice.